Rose Blanchard's book has been released, and page after page is just full of lies that contradict itself.
Probably the most famous victim of Munchausen by proxy ever has now written her very own book, a memoir, and it's just hit the #1 best-selling list.
It's no secret that Gypsy-Rose Blanchard's story has been a whirlwind of twists and turns. But her latest drama surrounding her memoir, My Time to Stand, has thrown her back into the spotlight, and not in a good way. What started as a supposed triumph, a chance for Gypsy to reclaim her narrative, has quickly spiraled into controversy, as she's now accused of weaving a fresh web of lies. The book has faced rejection from fans, bookstores, and critics alike, and it's clear why. Gypsy's claims of success simply don't hold up under scrutiny. Let's start with the numbers. A glance at Amazon's book rankings reveals a much less glamorous picture than Gypsy would have you believe. At the time of writing, My Time to Stand sits at a modest rank of -3-447 in the overall books category. Not exactly the chart-topping success she's claimed. Even in niche categories like survival biographies and women's biographies, the book ranks at 28 and 71, respectively. While these rankings aren't terrible, they're far from the best of both worlds. Bestseller titled Gypsy has been flaunting. So where did this bold claim even come from? Gypsy has been pointing to an article in Variety magazine that allegedly celebrated her book as a bestseller. On the surface, this might seem like validation, but a closer look reveals a different story. The article likely referred to her book as a one new release in a niche category, a far cry from an actual bestseller accolade. New releases can gain temporary momentum in specific categories without having significant sales volume or mainstream popularity.
Gypsy-Rose Blanchard's getting her book returned in mass. Folks are saying the book's so damn bad. Just send it back, child.
Book isn't doing good because what?
It's in returns.
For Gypsy to not only share this information but double down on it without verifying the facts raises serious questions. Is this yet another case of her being out of touch with reality, or is it a deliberate attempt to mislead her audience? Either way, it's a bad look. Claiming a bestseller title without the rankings to back it up isn't just misleading. It's an outright exaggeration designed to keep her name relevant. And let's not forget the broader implications. Many of Gypsy's fans, who were once fiercely loyal, are now expressing disillusionment. In a world where the term bestseller is often thrown around loosely, it doesn't take much to hit a niche category's top spot during a book's initial launch. But sustaining sales and achieving a true bestseller status in overall rankings requires widespread support and consistent quality, something Gypsy's book clearly lacks. Reviews for My Time to Stand haven't been glowing either. Critics and readers alike have pointed out glaring inconsistencies and inaccuracies in her story, making it difficult to trust her narrative. Rather than letting the quality of her work speak for itself, Gypsy has chosen to amplify questionable claims, further eroding public trust. When the backlash started rolling in, Gypsy did what she's become infamous for. She turned off her comments.
So I guess I haven't seen it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it didn't come through receiving. I guess it came through promo. So they put it on the displays. You know what I mean? Or they have a Kroger and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's I would say probably 100,000 books of that book in returns. Because Kroger, all of them sent it back.
By silencing criticism, she effectively shut down the conversation, avoiding the accountability she so desperately needs. This move is nothing new. Gypsy has a history of retreating whenever the heat turns up. But let's be real, turning off comments isn't just about avoiding negativity, it's about dodging responsibility. This pattern of behavior has left many wondering whether Gypsy has learned anything from her past. Instead of addressing the valid concerns of her audience, she's chosen to bury her head in the sand, doubling down on the same tactics that have gotten her into trouble before. The truth is, Gypsy's facade as a best-selling author is crumbling. As the numbers and reviews continue to contradict her claims, it's becoming increasingly clear that My Time to Stand is less about reclaiming her story and more about staying in the spotlight.
Oh, all the distributors?
Yep.
Awesome. Well,
all the retailers sent it back to us, and now we got to send it back to the publisher, and they're probably just going to burn it.
You thought it was your time to stand, that's why you named your book that? But the lie detector test said it was your time.
Gypsy-Rose Blanchard's latest antics with their memoir, My Time to Stand, continue to unravel, with her recent strategy of silencing critics only adding fuel to the fire. By disabling comments across her platforms, she's made it clear she's not interested in engaging with her audience unless it's under her own terms. Social media thrives on interaction, yet Gypsy's tactic of shutting down valid criticisms and counter-arguments sends a loud message. She's dodging accountability. This move hasn't gone unnoticed. Longtime followers and skeptics alike are questioning her motives. If her claims of My Time to Stand being a bestseller were legitimate, wouldn't she welcome the opportunity to discuss and celebrate its success openly? Instead, her retreat into silence raises red flags. Historically, this has been Gypsy's go-to play whenever backlash escalates, be it over inconsistencies in her narrative or controversial public decisions. But this strategy is backfiring. Not only are people rejecting her memoir, but they're also rejecting her refusal to stand by her claims when faced with scrutiny. And the numbers don't lie. Reports are surfacing that a staggering 1,000,000 copies of My Time to Stand are sitting in returns.
Time to sit the hell down. When you lie so much in your book so bad, they say, you know what, just go send it back. We don't even want this. Probably after all the uproar over this weekend, all these bookstores and stores are just like, yeah, we don't want any parts of this. This is the woman that unalived her mom and used a disabled man to do it.
TikToker I Tell the Truth About the Tea went as far as contacting a wholesaler directly, who confirmed the book's dismal performance. In fact, unsold copies are being sent back in droves, leaving the publisher, Ben Bella Books, in a precarious financial position. It's clear that Ben Bella overestimated Gypsy's influence. At first glance, her massive TikTok following, boasting 9.8 million followers, seemed like a golden opportunity for a publishing deal. But as this situation proves, a large social media following doesn't always translate into actual sales. Many of her followers are drawn to the sensationalism of her story, not a genuine interest in supporting her work financially. With warehouses now overflowing with unsold books, Ben Bella is facing a significant financial loss. Printing and distributing books is a costly endeavor, and when unsold copies are returned en masse, publishers are left to foot the bill. The lack of initial momentum for My Time to Stand has spelled disaster, with the flood of returns painting a grim picture of how poorly the book has been received.
Not okay. This is not okay. This simply will not do. And this is not okay. And I'm not good with this.
This backlash isn't just about the book's content, it's about trust. Readers feel misled by Gypsy's inflated claims, and the avalanche of negative word of mouth surrounding her memoir has only made things worse. Many potential buyers are now avoiding the book altogether, unwilling to invest in what they perceive as a disingenuous product. For Gypsy and Ben Bella, the road ahead looks bleak. Gypsy has long leaned on her narrative of being a victim of Munchausen by proxy, a severe and rare form of child abuse, to garner sympathy and support. But as her credibility continues to crumble, even her most devoted supporters are beginning to question whether she's more of a manipulator than a survivor. It's a harsh reality for Gypsy, whose attempts to maintain relevance are falling flat. With her memoir rejected by the public, her publishing team struggling to recover losses, and her online presence increasingly under fire, it's becoming clear that Gypsy's story isn't the comeback she wanted. It's a cautionary tale. The Gypsy-Rose Blanchard saga takes yet another dark twist as new details emerge about the questionable narrative in her memoir, My Time to Stand.
So she starts the book with a very, very deep quote, and I was shook. She literally starts the book saying, "My mom gave birth to me when she was 24 years old."
For years, Gypsy's story has captivated audiences, presenting her as a victim of unimaginable abuse. But now, cracks in that narrative are becoming impossible to ignore. One glaring issue is the basis of her mother, D.D. Blanchard's alleged diagnosis of Munchausen by proxy. The truth? D.D. was never officially diagnosed. This claim was a strategic move by Gypsy's legal team during her trial, a defense tactic that stuck with the public despite no substantial evidence backing it. By doubling down on this narrative in her memoir, Gypsy isn't just misleading her audience, she's overshadowing the real stories of abuse survivors. Instead of offering a heartfelt tale of survival, My Time to Stand feels more like a cash grab wrapped in sensationalism. In interviews promoting the book, Gypsy insisted her family supported her decision to share her story. She painted a picture of unity, claiming Dee Dee's relatives encouraged her to bring her truth to light. But as it turns out, that couldn't be further from reality. Dee Dee's family, including her sisters Claudette Petray and Dolores Strip, have publicly condemned the memoir. Their disapproval has been loud and clear, from participating in protests outside Gypsy's book signings to supporting events held in Dee Dee's memory.
And I took away her life when I was almost 24 years old. Something like that. And it was just a very, very, very gripping opening statement.
These public acts of dissent starkly contrast Gypsy's portrayal of familial harmony. To falsely claim the support of a family still grieving Dee Dee's loss isn't just deceitful, it's downright disrespectful. By dragging Dee Dee's relatives into the controversy, Gypsy has not only tarnished their reputation, but also exacerbated the pain they've endured. This calculated manipulation has left many questioning Gypsy's sincerity. If she can't be truthful about her family's stance on the memoir, how can anyone trust the rest of her story? Adding fuel to the fire, Gypsy's memoir includes deeply controversial allegations against her grandfather, Claudette Petray. In the book, she accuses him of sexual abuse, branding him as a touchy-feely figure. Claudette, however, has vehemently denied these accusations, even turning the tables by claiming that Gypsy made inappropriate advances toward him. Given Gypsy's established pattern of dishonesty, the truth remains murky. These allegations have only further alienated readers and fueled skepticism about her intentions. Critics have also pointed out that for a book supposedly aimed at inspiring abuse survivors, My Time to Stand spends an uncomfortable amount of time detailing Gypsy's sexual experiences. This misplaced focus not only alienates readers, but also undermines the book's intended message of hope and resilience. Many feel the memoir is less about empowering others and more about capitalizing on the notoriety of Gypsy's past.
Rose Blanchard's getting her book returned in mass. Folks are saying the book's so damn bad. Just send it back, child. So I heard this clip. I'm going to add the clip, and I'm going to tag the creator.
What's even more shocking is the backlash from bookstores and readers alike. Reports suggest that thousands of unsold copies of My Time to Stand are being returned, a devastating blow to both Gypsy and her publisher, Ben Bella Books. For a publishing house that likely banked on her notoriety to drive sales, this outcome is a financial and reputational nightmare. Printing, distributing, and marketing a book involves substantial costs, and the sheer volume of returns indicates just how poorly the memoir has been received. This isn't just a case of a book failing to sell, it's a loud and clear rejection of Gypsy's attempt to rewrite her story on her own terms. Even her substantial TikTok following, boasting nearly 10 million followers, has proven to be more of a curious audience than a loyal fan base willing to invest in her narrative. The gap between her social media presence and her real-world influence is glaring, further highlighting the disconnect between Gypsy and the public.
That I got it from. I don't know where they got it from, but I want y'all to hear this clip because child gypsy-rose is probably at the house of tears. Poor Bookie book so bad. A book alive.
The most damning aspect of this entire debacle is Gypsy's continued avoidance of accountability. Shutting down comments on her social media posts might temporarily shield her from criticism, but it sends a clear message. She's not interested in addressing valid concerns or engaging in an honest dialogue with her audience. This move isn't just about avoiding negativity, it's about dodging responsibility for the discrepancies and falsehoods in her story. Her critics have also called out the way she has overshadowed her own narrative of survival by dragging her family into the spotlight. Dee Dee Blanchard's relatives have made it abundantly clear that they do not support Gypsy's portrayal of events. Public protests, videos commemorating Dee Dee, and outright denunciations from family members paint a picture of a fractured relationship that Gypsy has only worsened through her actions. Hit notification bell so you never miss a drop of the latest drama, scandals, and deep dives. I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on Gypsy's memoir, her family drama, and these wild claims? Drop your opinions in the comments below. It's your turn to spill the tea. Let's keep this conversation going because I know you've got some hot takes. Also, a little sneak peek for my loyal viewers. I've got even more juicy stories coming up, so stay tuned because the drama never sleeps. And for my social media fam, make sure you're following me on all platforms for the behind-the-scenes gossip, extra updates, and exclusive polls where you get to vote on what I cover next.